G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How are we all doing today? The video is on a bit of a strange slope, unless I correct it in editing, because it's on the roof of a car and the car's been parked further back than normal, so it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. How are we all doing? It's raining like it always seems to be in Melbourne. It's really taken inspiration from its English Heritage Australia today. Crap weather. But I thought I'd do a cheeky video talking about the bike again, you know? I'm sort of getting to the tail end of content I can really make about this bike, because look, I've done the touring, I've done mods, performance and all that goodness, so what's left to talk about? Not much, but I do have something. So, ladies and gents, the Honda Rebel. She's not really a cruiser. I know it looks like a cruiser, it sort of sounds like a cruiser, but not really. Doesn't feel like one, I can tell you that much. Let me start with a few things. Look, the Honda Rebel is the beautiful, I call it a hybrid bike, because it's sort of like a naked bike with the cruiser aesthetic, alright? Let's start with the power plant down here. The engine, main, is the engine. It's the 471cc 180 degree crank that comes from the CBR 500. It's in the CB 500 and the SL 500, CMX 500. It's a sports bike engine. Sure, it's been detuned a little bit for torque, but after riding it next to a bunch of CBR 500s, you don't really notice it. The rain is picking up, so hopefully you can hear my voice. Apologies, because I'm under a tin roof in this gaz, alright? But yes, look, the engine on this bike, it is the furthest thing from a cruiser bike. A lot of people compare this bike to an 883, for good reason. An 883 is got a bigger engine, it's more expensive, and it's a Harley. This is a Honda. The 883 has a bigger engine, but it is significantly slower because it's a heavier bike. And also has 50 horsepower, whereas this has 47.5-ish horsepower and half the engine size, but it knows how to use the engine. So she doesn't have as much torque, but she does have the power and the revs to play with. This bike is sort of like a Sportster. Think of it like Honda's equivalent of the Yamaha Bolt. Now, I know we have the Honda Shadow, but we don't get the new Honda Shadow anymore. So this is all we get in Australia. It's 192 kilos. Most cruisers are about 250, upwards of that. So we got 250 and more. I know the Indian Chief is 307. The Scout's like 252. Harley's at 290. Look, cruisers are big and large and in charge. This thing, she's small and nimble. She leans over. So right, so she's got about 34 degrees of lean angle. Most cruisers have like 29 degrees thereabouts or less. I know the Sports Chief, the Sports Scout all have about the same lean angle as this one, but you got to pay extra for that, whereas this is $10,000 brand new. I don't know what they cost anymore brand new, but I'm pretty sure they're still around similar pricing. Now, seat-wise, pillion seat, you got your standard cruisery things, but the fact is, this bike leans much more than any cruiser has any right to lean. And when you're sitting on it, let me just have it the old. You're in a very upright position here, right? So if I just do this, you can see, I'm not leaning, I'm not doing the old brother position, I'm just comfortable, I'm chilling. So it's got a really upright position, got that nice posty bike seat and stance, got the big front tyre, keeps that bobber aesthetic, handling, it's not as snappy around the left and right turns, but guess what? She does everything that you'd expect a bike to do, but she doesn't do anything perfectly. That's what I said. Most people who ride these bikes say she can lean, she can rev, she can cruise, but she can't do anything perfectly. She's not the biggest leaner out of all the bikes. It's a cruiser still at heart. Just because it can lean over 34 degrees does not mean it is a big leaning bike. She's got that nice peppy engine. Now, like I'm saying, man, cruisers are usually low gear, low RPM. Ugh, rip my arms out the socket. This is... no wonder so many people who buy a Honda Rebel end up moving on to an Indian Scout. Similar engine performance. Yes, I know the Rebel 1100 comes out, but if you're like me, you don't want to upgrade to the same bike, but better. Whereas the Indian Scout, it's got a bigger V-twin, alright, got 100 horsepower, the new one's got 105, and it revs, it just boogies, and it takes off. Same thing here, it just goes, and then it starts taking off. But obviously being such a small engine, it doesn't have the most power to go with, but you understand the sort of, the mentality, you can see where I'm not clutching at straws here, you can understand where I'm going here. Small engine likes to rev. Indian Scout, bigger engine, still likes to rev. So a lot of people don't go from this to, say, a Harley or an Indian Chief, because they like that engine performance. And typical cruisers are large and in charge, rip the arms out and slow down. They don't have speed, they have torque. Whereas this is more horsepower focused. Yes, it's not a fast engine, but that's sort of where you go. So a lot of people would rather go to either a naked bike or an Indian Scout or the FTR. Or MT-09 is a very popular one to upgrade to. They like that rev. Sure, MT-09's a bit talky, but you know what I mean. You see where I'm going here. In terms of cruising, she's not the most comfortable cruiser bike out there. Yes, she's comfortable for shorter trips, town trips, twisty trips, but don't do it all day on it. Your ass gonna be sore, your legs gonna be cramping, because the mid-controls are pretty short. If you're a bigger individual, this bike is not for you. My lord, can the heavens stop opening up when I am contenting, please? But if you're like 6 foot plus, this bike, yeah, she ain't gonna be comfortable for a long stint. I can tell you that much, because this bike, I'm 5'9". And even I find her uncomfortable after a while. God forbid you have a passenger. If you do have a passenger, short trips are going to be your favourite. My lord, it does not rain this much before. Oh, Melbourne, your charm is beautiful. Of course, it rained all day today, right? And the moment I start recording, it decided to rain more. I could have done a video hours ago. It would have been fine. But we know what it's like. The moment you start doing something, just listen. God have mercy on my Melburnian weather. Now, in terms of anything else, this bike does not have anything in terms of technology, alright? It's got ABS, and I believe that's it. You got no cruise control. Only Rich this cruise control fucking. Back in my day, the only cruise control we had was our foot, you know? Basically the same deal here. Use your hand, and that's the only cruise control. You got nothing else. You got a fuel gauge. That's more than the Indian Scout Bobber had up until recently. You got no tacho, but we don't need a tacho. If your selling point for a bike is the fact that it has a tacho over the Rebel, it's not a selling point. If you seriously consider not buying one of these because it doesn't have a tacho, brother, you shouldn't be riding. Because who the hell is looking at their RPMs while shifting? Learn how to ride. All right, she's a chain-driven bike. This one. A lot of cruisers are either belt or shaft-driven for a reason. We don't like to have to worry about maintenance. We just want to ride the damn things. Having a belt, yes, it delivers more power to the wheel. We understand there is a power loss. Is it severe enough to matter? Typically, no. On a bike of this engine size, maybe. Let's take the Indian Chief, because that's like the bike I know the most about in terms of big boy cruisers. It's 162 newton meters of torque on the one of the previous gen model. Belt driven. It's got about 87 horsepower. Oh no, we might lose 15% power. Don't care. Indian Scout Bobber, same deal. 100 horsepower, 105 horsepower, but it's belt driven. This bike, 47 horsepower. I don't want to lose anything. Belt drive would be nice, but chain drive is fine. But you are going to have to modify it. Alright. Despite that, a lot of cruiser bikes, man, they're sort of built for purpose. The Honda Rebel, when you start looking closely, looks a bit part spinny. Like the radiator just sort of, it's plonked on there. It's very square. It doesn't really matter. And the rest of it's okay. Being the S edition, I think, ties it together a little bit nicer with the cowl, the fork boots, the brown seat does it. The exhaust, the stock exhaust looks like shit. And it sounds worse. Suspension on this bike, look, cruisers are supposed to be a little bit more comfortable. Indian Scout Bobber, is an exception with its 2-inch travel. This suspension on this bike is not plump. It's not. It's just firm. All right? It's sporty. It's a very sporty suspension. You hit a bump in this thing, you'll break your spine, and it sucks. I can tell you that much. Look, suspension-wise, if you're doing twisty stuff, it does the job. You hit a bump in the twisties, you will undulate a little bit, but there's a reason a lot of people upgrade this suspension. It's not that good, especially for your big cruisers. You're gonna want to change it. And now the rest of the stuff is subjective. The seat, if you're going to do big tours, I would change. Forward controls, I might add. Highway bars, I might even add. Handlebars, look, it depends on your physiology. If you're built a certain way, your handlebars might be annoying, might not be annoying. I find them fine. Putting apes on this bike seems strange to me, because I'm so used to it this way, but it has been done. I've seen it. It doesn't look that weird, but I think it looks better with these bars or drag bars, personally. But look, man, she handles well. She's light, she's fuel efficient, she's not very torquey, she's okay at cruising, but she's not the best at it. She really is a hybrid bike. Like I said, she's not a typical cruiser. That's why she can do everything well, but nothing perfect. So she's a jack of all trades and a master at none. But if you want a sporty cruiser that can handle the twisties just fine, you can go for this. The 300 is less powerful, but does the job, and the 1100. Look, you won't have the most comfortable cruiser, but you will have one of the most nimble cruisers. So you get a good look and a good twisty package. So if you still want the cruiser look, but you don't want the cruiser life, and you still want to hit the twisties, This is a bike you should be buying. If you just want to go faster in a straight line, Rebel 1100, Scout Bobber, Scout, Sports Scout, whatever the hell, sure. But if you like hitting those curves, this will beat all the other cruisers, hands down, by a mile in the twisties, just because it can lean over so well. Yes, the Sports Scout and the Sport Chief can lean over just as much, but this is still much lighter, and the engine lets it boogie, because it's made to be revved, you know what I'm saying? But ladies and gents, that's all I have to say about it. If you have anything else you'd like to add, please do it down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know it's always welcome. Otherwise, take it easy, keep it cheesy. I love you, and I leave you. Peace. Bye.